Hello, lovely learners. How are you all doing today? I hope you are doing great. We thank God. On behalf of management, I greet you once again, and you are welcome to our virtual learning. Now, I hope you are taking good care of yourselves and you are making sure that you don't pollute the environment. You can see that our environment is full of pollution or pollutants. Pollutants are things that pollute the environment. There's smoke everywhere, smokes from car exhaust, burning of wood from other places, and also production of foodstuffs and other materials from factories. All these materials release into the atmosphere pollutant, or which causes pollution. I know you already know what we are coming to talk about today. Now, today we are talking about air pollution, and I'm very happy that we are starting a new topic, which is air pollution. And these are some of the things we are going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about pollution. I'm also going to talk about the pollutants. We are also talking about the types of pollutants, and we will see some sources of common air pollutants. And if God permits us, with time we are going to talk about the harmful effects of air pollutants. And for every lesson we expect to meet our observation or our goals or our objective. So our specific objective for the day is that you should be able to explain the following terms. That is pollution. You should be able to explain air pollutant, water pollutant, and land pollutant. And 2, you should be able to state the names and sources of common air pollutant. And last but not least, you should be able to list the possible harmful effects of air pollutant. So this is what we are going to talk about today. Now, I hope you can see this. Please help me. This is sand, which is dust. This thing, when it mixes with the air, or when it's moving, you see that it's producing air or dust, which can pollute the environment. We have another particle, which is chalk particle. This is also another form of dust, which can also pollute the environment or can affect human beings. So this is what we are talking about: pollution, air pollution. Now, to go straight to the business for the day or the topic for today, what is pollution? Pollution is the release of harmful substances into the environment. That is the land, water, and the atmosphere. So when harmful substances are released into the atmosphere or in the environment, which is the environment is made up of the land, the water bodies, and the atmosphere, as you can see. So if harmful substances are released into these bodies, then what is going to happen to us? So this is what we are talking about. Now, pollutant is a harmful substance that is released into the environment. Example is the dust that I just demonstrated. Smoke from burning materials. We have sulfur dioxide gas. These are examples of pollutants which can affect the environment. Now we have types of pollutants or types of materials which, when it's released into the land, it can affect the land, or when it's released into the air, it can also affect the air that we breathe. When it's released into water, it can also affect our water bodies. So that is what the types of pollutants. So we have the air pollutant, we have the water pollutant, and we have the land pollutant as well. These are materials that when they are released into these bodies, they can affect the bodies or it can affect the environment. Now today we are going to talk about the air pollutants. We are going to talk about air pollutant or air pollution. So air pollutant is just the materials or substances that when they are released into the air causes the air to be polluted or make the air polluted. And therefore when you breathe in, it affects the body, and not only the body of human beings, it can affect other organisms as well. And that is what? Air pollutant or air pollution. And that is what we are talking about today. Now let's look at some sources or the names of common sources of air pollutants. Number one, we have sulfur dioxide, which has a symbol SO2. That is SO2, sulfur dioxide. This is produced by volcanoes and also combustion of coal and petroleum products. That is when you burn a petroleum product, the gases that comes out or the chemicals that comes out is what we call the sulfur dioxide. So that is sulfur dioxide as a pollutant for you. And the sources are the coal and the petroleum products like the petrol, kerosene, diesel, and the rest. Now we have another air pollutant which is called the nitrogen dioxide, and it has the chemical symbol NO2, nitrogen dioxide. Now, sources of nitrogen dioxide, we get nitrogen dioxide from burning of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are fuels that when we burn them, we obtain these substances like plants. We obtain coal, oil, and gas. So when we produce gas, these are some of the side effects. The gases that comes out to pollute the air or the environment is what we call the nitrogen dioxide. I hope you are paying attention and you are taking note of what we are learning today. So these are air pollutants and their sources. Now the other air pollutant is carbon monoxide. It has a chemical symbol CO, carbon monoxide. This is obtained from fumes of vehicular exhaust. That is the smoke that comes out from vehicles. You know, vehicles, they contain engines, and when the engines, when petrol or fuel is put into the engines, it burns, and when it burns, it produces or it releases smoke from the exhaust of the cars, and that is the carbon monoxide. It's just a smoke or the film from vehicular exhaust pipes, and also incomplete combustion or burning of fuels such as natural gas, coal, or wood. When you burn wood and you are not able to burn it fully, or it's not burned totally, the remaining part releases air or smoke into the atmosphere, and that smoke is what we call the carbon monoxide. So that is another pollutant or air pollutant for you. Now let's look at the other air pollutant. We have what we call carbon dioxide. So take note of the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide sources is combustion, incomplete combustion or burning. So the word combustion means burning. Burning. When you burn firewood, when the firewood is fresh or when there's water in the wood and you burn it, it cannot burn well like the dry wood. So when you burn such wood, the smoke that comes out is what we call the carbon monoxide, and this pollutes the air or the environment. But carbon dioxide, the chemical symbol is CO2, and sources of carbon dioxide is from the combustion or burning of fuel and cement production. Cement production, there are certain chemicals which are break into smaller particles in the powdered form, and other chemicals like gypsum are added to it. So during the production of cement, some dust particles are released, and those particles are carbon dioxide or sources of carbon dioxide which pollute the environment. So cement contains special chemicals which, when released into the atmosphere or into the air, it pollutes the air, and that is another example of carbon dioxide as a pollutant. Now let's look at other pollutants here. Smoke or ordinary smoke is one of the pollutants which can pollute the environment. We also have dust particles, which you saw right now. Dust particles can also pollute the environment. We have excessive noise. Now, excessive noise can be nuisance to the ear, and this is also one of the pollutants or air pollutants, because it cannot give you good hearing, and that is what the nuisance hearing that I'm talking about. That is excessive noise. So these are other pollutants that we have. Now let's look at the harmful effects of pollutants. Let's look at some few harmful effects of pollutants, air pollutants. You know, everything we do, we have the side effect, or we have the positive and the negative side. So the negative side of the air pollutant is that one, dust, smoke, and fumes can cause poor vision and also destroys vegetation. Dust, smoke, and fumes can cause poor vision. That is, it cannot see well, and also destroys vegetation or plants. That is what the vegetation. So we need to be careful about the way or the activities that we carry out, that is human activities that we normally perform to destroy the environment. We need to check it. Then the other side effect is that it causes respiratory diseases. As an example, the sulfur dioxide. When sulfur dioxide is much in the atmosphere, it causes respiratory diseases, because we breathe the air that we release into the atmosphere, or the air that is in the atmosphere, we breathe it, and when we breathe in, it can enter into the system to damage or to block the various channels which control the respiratory system. It can block it, and this is going to affect our health, and that, therefore, one of the side effects of air pollutants is that it can cause what we call respiratory diseases. I hope you've taken notes of today's lesson. This is where time will permit us. Now, to recap what we have learned today, let me quickly look at this. We're able to look at the following terms: pollution, pollutant, water pollutant, and land pollutant, and the air pollutant. These are materials that pollute the various bodies of the air, water, and the land. You know, for water pollutant, example is DDT. When this DDT or chemical is put into the water, it pollutes or it destroys the organisms in the water, that is the fish and the rest. So we've seen the terms air pollutant and the rest. We've also seen some names and sources of common air pollutants, that is sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. These are all pollutants, and others like smoke, dust particles, excessive noise. All these are air pollutants which pollute the environment, and the side effect is that it can lead to poor vision and also destroys vegetation, and it can also lead to respiratory diseases. This is where time will allow us to end today's lesson. God bless you for paying attention, and I'll continue to urge you to continue to observe the safety protocol of the pandemic so that you can all stay alive and stay safe. God bless you for paying attention. Until I come your way next time, continue to revise your notes, and bye-bye.